Well, hello there. My name is Jennifer Villamil, and I am the host of my Almost Midlife Crisis podcast. Whether you are a listener that has been there from day one, which, first of all, thank you so much. I really appreciate your listenership, or you're brand new to the podcast and wondering, like, what the hell is this and who's this chick? I wanted to just take a step back and introduce myself. And who is this person that that started this podcast, and who are you listening to? So I am an advertising executive by trade. I have been in the advertising business for almost 18 years, and focusing mostly on like go to market strategy, branding, and kind of the business of agencies. But that's not where it started. When I went to college, majored in mass communications, focusing on telecommunications. And I knew I wanted to be in media. And specifically, I wanted to be the next Howard Stern, which probably dates me. But I really just have always had this fascination with the audio medium. I listen to a ton of podcasts, mostly true crime and political and news. Those are kind of my go-to on a personal level. Um, but I've always kind of loved it. And while I tried to be in radio, after college, I interned on two different radio stations. One of them on a shock jock morning show in St. Pete, Florida, which I was fired on air. When people were voting, callers were voting if I should be fired. And by the way, they voted that I shouldn't be, but I was anyway. And then the second one, did promotions, and a couple recorded some commercials for Kiss FM in Chicago, which is where I'm based and where I'm originally from. So radio didn't really work out for me. I was told that if you get fired three times, that means you're going to be successful, and I just thought that was kind of BS. Like, I don't want to. Like, who wants to be in a career that you have to get fired multiple times to be successful? Like, maybe you should just be able to like work hard and do a good job and keep your job. Um, so I kind of abandoned that for a while. I was heartbroken because I felt like I was abandoning my dream. And I stumbled into advertising. Even though that was part of my major and I had classes in advertising, I don't know why. I just never really opened my mind to being in advertising. But I started as a media assistant at a small agency in Florida, and almost 18 years later, I was the head of media at an agency based in LA, really building a media practice. So, it's definitely a fascination that I have. I do love advertising, but my passion for the audio medium, for expressing myself, for being really willing to have conversations or say things that maybe not everyone is willing to say out loud, but maybe they're thinking, has been something I've always been really passionate about. So in going through the pandemic, I think, like a lot of people, I really started just reevaluating what was important to me. Did I want to continue to do advertising or not? Was I happy in the job I was in? Who was my support system, and were they bringing me positivity, or maybe did I need to clean it up a bit? What was I doing for kind of self care? I think I learned a lot in the pandemic in terms of not maybe prior to the pandemic, I wasn't necessarily putting myself first a lot. I was not taking care of myself. I was always good at working out. I've always been really into fitness. I'm a huge Peloton fanatic. Actually, my username in Peloton is Pello Cult Member. If you have a Peloton and want to follow me, and we can do some rides together. I'm a huge Peloton fanatic, but fitness has always been something I've been interested in. But taking care of myself mentally was something that I've put on the back burner, and I think that the pandemic really forced me to do that and really think about what are my de-stressors? What makes me happy? Like, how do I filter out, and really just pull back and take time for myself and really give myself the self-care and love that I deserve so that I could continue to make those around me happy. Um, and so it was a big learning for me during that time period. Um, and so throughout that, I kind of, was looking for an outlet. I felt like I was going through a lot and talking with a lot of my friends. I knew that I wasn't the only one. And so I wanted to, tap into one of my strengths, which is being able to express myself. I have always had the ability to be very vulnerable and very open, and not be scared to be myself and to show others who I am, and be okay with, like, some people like you and some people don't, and who cares? I mean, we're all human beings, and none of us are perfect. So I've always been, had that ability to just be me and bring that to the world. And you know, I've also had the ability to speak up and to say things, or bring up issues, whether it be at work or in personal life, that maybe people are thinking, but they're nervous to say, or maybe they don't have the confidence to say, or they're scared to speak out. I do not have that. I mean, I don't like doing it all the time, but I believe in the power of our voice, and I believe in the power of us stating our truths. Even if we figure out later that we changed our mind and those are no longer our truths, like, that's okay. That's called growth. So, um, I wanted to take those skills that I had and really apply it to a passion that I never really let go of: audio. So after, a year of the pandemic in 2021, in 2021, yeah, obviously, January 2021, I, I launched my Almost Midlife Crisis podcast because I genuinely felt like I was on a cusp of my midlife crisis. And when I say midlife crisis, that's not a negative thing. I think that this is just a time of, like, reevaluation in your life, because that's what I was doing. So a little bit about me outside of the podcast. So I live in Chicago. I am turning 40 this year, so I'm elder millennial. Definitely identify with elder millennials. Have a harder time identifying with younger millennials, which I talk about in the podcast. It's kind of a fun dichotomy. I feel like millennials is really this generation that's split in two. It's like they're it's a very different generation depending on the age range. So I'm elder. I got married in July 2021 after postponing the wedding 4 times thanks to COVID. Um, and I am now actually pregnant with my first child. So yeah, 39, pregnant, recently married, and actually very recently laid off from my job. So I like to say that now I'm officially starting my actual midlife crisis, because I have no idea what's next. And that's kind of the fun part. It's kind of the exciting part. So that's a little bit about me. Um, I would love to know more about you and about my listeners. So if you want to subscribe to this YouTube channel, you want to make a comment, you want to send me a direct message, you can send it to my email at myalmostmidlifecrisis@gmail.com. You can also subscribe to the website, myalmostmidlifecrisis.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, on my almost midlife crisis. So I hope to connect with you more soon, and I hope to get to know a little bit more about you. Talk to you soon. Bye.